Shalom, Kahalo Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us His truth. And shalom and salutations to all the brothers that push in the word in truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yashawan, back with the World War III Daily Update, all right? And what we're going to do is quickly, I'm going to show you World War I, II, and III in the Bible to let you know that everything is going according to a plan. And it's not, what's his name? Albert Pike. It's not Albert Pike Morals and Dogmas plan, okay? They might think it's their plan, but the Most High, this was written long before Albert Pike. All right, so in Revelation 9, this whole passage up here goes into World War I, from 1 down to 11, okay? It describes World War I. All right, and I'm not going to go into it, but you can do that on your own, all right? When you get to 12, it says, one woe is past. What woe? This woe, World War I. Okay? All right? This is John on the Isle of Patmos, who had a vision. He was being shown a vision of what was going on. Okay? And right here, the fifth trumpet, right, it goes into World War I, right? And he was describing it as best as he could 2,000 years ago, all right? And they had breastplates as if it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots and many horses running into battle. He's describing the vision that he saw as best as he could 2,000 years ago. Okay? Now, you get here, one woe is past. That's World War I is past, right? And behold, there come two woes more hereafter. Okay? So, during this time in the vision, okay, he was describing World War I, Salakia. Okay, now when we go to 11, then we get to World War II. Okay? The second woe is past. Second World War. And this is 11 and 14. And behold, the third woe cometh quickly. Okay? Meaning, here comes World War III. World War III is going to be the last world war. And then after that, there are going to be no more wars. They're going to beat their weapons into pruning hooks and gardening tools again, and they're going to learn war no more. Let's get that. Let's see. Let's go here. Isaiah 2 and 4. Let's just go to the whole thing. Now, this is speaking of the kingdom after World War III, right? This is talking about the kingdom of heaven, which will be on earth, right? Because the one you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, whose name is Yahushua, and the angels are going to come back during World War III, shut down all, they're going to destroy all the armies of the earth, and then subdue all the nations of the earth. There'll be one king who you call Jesus, whose name is Yahushua, and all the nations of the world will be subject to that one king and his people, the children of Israel, right? Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. And that's just what it is. You could disagree all you want to. But when you go into the scriptures and you find out what the one you call Jesus looked like, today you would call him an African American. Okay. What is his nationality? He's an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. And his people look like him. All right. That's just what it is. All right. His dad looks like him. It's just what it is. We could go into the scripture and pull out the truth, and it's just what it is. All right. Whether you agree with it or not, this is what it is and what it's going to be. So when it says all knees shall bow, if you don't bow down, those that don't want to worship me, bring them hither and slay them before me. It's going to be very hard for everybody, since the so-called black man in America has been on the bottom for so long. What other nation of people is going to just jump up and bow down? They're going to have a problem with that. Okay? This is what it means. The first shall be last and the last shall be first. Well, Negroes are last right now. In the kingdom of heaven, they're going to be first. Okay? And the other people are going to be their subjects. Subject means ownership, slavery. Okay? And that's just what it is. Okay? And I can show you real quick if I have to. Anyway, so this is describing the kingdom of heaven. All right? Quickly, the word that Isaiah the son of Amoz saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. Judah is the tribe that the one you ignorantly call Jesus Christ came from. So this is the southern kingdom, and Jerusalem is the northern kingdom, the so-called Latinos and Native Americans. All right? And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains. This is talking about governments, right? And shall be exalted above the hills, governments. And all nations shall flow into it, okay? This is talking about the kingdom of heaven after World War III. And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the Lord, house of the God of Jacob. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law. Everybody's going to keep the laws in the Bible because we're going to enforce them. And the word of the Lord from Jerusalem, our home. Okay? Now listen. And he shall judge among the nations. That's you other nations, not the... Israel is going to be in rulership under the one you call Jesus, right? He's an Israelite. He and his people are going to rule. Everybody thinks that China is going to be the next superpower. No, it's not going to happen like that. Okay, and I'll show you what. And shall rebuke many people. Hey, you're going to fall in line is what you're going to do. You're going to fall in line to the King of Kings and his people. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, that's a gardening tool, and their spears into pruning hooks. They're going to take their weapons, and they're going to melt the weapons down. There's no need for them anymore, because Israel is in rulership, and nobody can overcome them ever again, okay? Because their bodies are going to be changed into superhuman beings, and you won't be able to wage war against that. It'll be futile. The one you ignorantly call Jesus Christ has spiritual power. And at the end, when this world, the world as we know it, is destroyed, the people are going to be taken up, right? And their bodies are going to change into superhuman beings. They're going to have celestial bodies, not terrestrial anymore, meaning they're never going to die. That's what everlasting life means, okay? And you won't be able to overcome them, all right? It'll be futile. That's why why are they going to beat their swords into plowshares? Because you are going to work. If you're not an Israelite, you're going to be a slave to the Israelites, okay? And you will be out there with your plow in that field, right? Just like we did. We were the slaves. But now it's your turn to be the slave. And your spears, no more weapons, all right? No more nukes. That's over. Into pruning hooks. And nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Okay? Now, this doesn't mean that. Well, let's prove it. Let's go to Isaiah 14 and let's prove what I'm saying. And then we'll get to the war report, all right? Because the war is for a specific purpose, all right? Now listen closely, I'm going to explain this. Isaiah 14 and 1. And I expect to see your thumbs down, so bring them up. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob. Now he's going to repeat what he just said. And will yet choose Israel, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, and set them in their own land. Has that happened yet? Did that happen in 1948 with the Balfour Declaration? No. Because if it did, why are we still warring? Why is there a war going on over there? It didn't happen yet. Okay? All right. Otherwise, we would be beating our plowshares. We'd be beating our spears into plowshares, and we'd be farming right now. So that hasn't happened yet. We're at war, clearly. All right? Now, this is talking about the kingdom of heaven. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, those are the Israelites, and will yet choose Israel, the Israelites, and set them in their own land, the land of Israel, who those people parted, right? They're over there arguing over our land right now, and they have to get blown the hell up out of it. And the strangers shall be joined with them, those are Israelites, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, all Israelites. Now, we get to the other people. And the people shall take them. What people? The Israelites shall take them, all right, all the other nations, and bring them to their place. Now listen close. And the house of Israel shall possess them. You know what a possession is? Something that belongs to you. The house of Israel shall possess the other nations in the land of the Lord, in Israel major, okay, for servants and the handmaid's tale. All right? Slaves. And the house of Israel, okay, all 12 tribes, shall possess them, the other nations, all of you, okay, for servants and handmaids. Now this is going to make it clear. And they shall take them captives. Who is they? The Israelites shall take who? Them captives, all the other nations, whose captives they were. Who had us in captivity? Okay, well, let's start with ancient Babylon. Who were the slaves in ancient Babylon? The Israelites were. Who were the slaves in the Medo-Persian Empire? The Israelites were. Who were the slaves in ancient Egypt? You know, Moses? The Israelites were. Rome? The Israelites. Greece? The Israelites. America? Who were the slaves in America? Who were the slaves in all of the major empires going all the way back to Babylon? The same people. Do you think that America is not mentioned in the Bible? Of course it is. It's referred to as Babylon the Great. Okay? Of course it is. And who were the slaves right here in Babylon the Great? It's really easy. And they shall take them captives. We're going to take whoever had us in slavery, we're going to put you in slavery. Plain and simple. And they shall rule over they're still oppressing us to this day. Pull over, get out of the car, nigger. Pop, pop, pop. It is what it is. And it shall come to pass that in that day the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow and from thy fear and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. Who is that talking about? Just this right here. And they shall take them captives. whose captives they were. Okay, for example, let's just say this. In America, we're not the black man, the slave. Yeah, but it doesn't say African American. We're not African Americans, we're the Israelites. And I can prove it all day going through the scriptures. All right? All day I can prove it. All right? And let's get a couple here. Let's go to the book of Deuteronomy. 28th chapter. Let's prove who was in those yokes of iron. Because thou, who's thou? Israelites. Okay. We should go to 1 real quick. Let's go to 1, because the whole book of Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 1. The whole book of Deuteronomy is about this. These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel. So the whole book is about this. Okay? On this side, Jordan, in the wilderness, in the plain over against the Red Sea. Okay? Now, let's go back. Now that we have an idea of who is being spoken to, and it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God. Okay? Who is he talking to? Moses is talking to the Israelites. So when we get down here into the curses that were put upon us, why do black people have nothing? Why are they on the bottom? And how come you can't pull yourself up by your own bootstraps? Here's why. Is KJV? All right. Where was I? Right here. Because thou servest not the Lord. See, Moses took us out into the wilderness. He went up, he got the 10 commandments. He came back and he said, look, if you hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord your God, and to observe all his commandments, which I command thee this day, God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth, and all these blessings shall come on thee. All right? What did we do? We did this. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments and statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee. What happened to the black man in America? Not the African, but the Israelites. This is what happened to the Israelites, all right? Because thou servest not the Lord. We didn't keep our end of the bargain with the commandments. Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore, this didn't happen to Africans. It happened to the children of Israel. Therefore, thou shalt serve thine enemies. See that word? Enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he hath destroyed thee. Okay? Gotta prove it, don't I? Oh, yeah. So put your thumbs down. Let's type this in. Yoke of iron. Yoke of iron upon thy neck. Uh-oh. What comes up? What comes up right away? Oh! There's that yoke of iron. So is this a African? No. This happened to the children of Israel. Got it? Plain and simple. Everybody did it in slavery. There were white slaves. Where are they at? Where are they at? Where are they? You know what it is. It is what it is. Okay, so back. All right. Now, we can go here. Kind of went off on a tangent. Sometimes this happens. What's going on is the Spirit of the Lord is bringing out this information. So we'll get to the World War. Why the World War? Okay. Joel 3. Here's what's going on. All right. Now God says he's going to, see this word captivity means slavery. All right. Joel 3:1. For behold, in those days and at that time, this is God speaking, when I shall bring again the captivity, meaning your slavery is over now, of Judah, you Negroes, and Jerusalem, you Latinos, Native American. Okay? Judah represents the southern kingdom. Jerusalem represents the northern kingdom. There was a split. Okay? So our captivity is almost over, right? And it will be when the angry black man you know as Jesus comes back with the angels to subdue the nations. I will also, this is God, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. This is World War III. Okay? And will plead with them there. Why? Why is he going to gather the nations and trick them into going and fighting each other in World War III? And will plead with them there for my people. Who's that? Israel. And for my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Who parted the Most High's land? Well, who's over there right now claiming to be the Israelite? I don't see no yoke of iron around nobody's neck unless you're a so-called African American. Right? Show me. Where's the pictures of those people in the land of Israel right now with yokes of iron around them? Where's the depictions? I believe that they had a big hand in the slave trade, as did the Arabs, Ishmaelites. Okay? And the truth is just the truth. So let's get this over here. Let's go to the NLT. At that time, at the time of those events, said the Lord, when I restore the prosperity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will gather the armies of the world down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's in the Middle East. There will I judge them for harming my people. Why is World War III going on? Because God is going to bring vengeance for what the other nations did to his people. There will I judge them for harming my people, my special possession, for scattering my people among the nations. That's what they did with them slave ships. And for dividing up my land. They threw dice to decide which of my people would be their slaves. They traded boys to obtain prostitutes. That means they sold them. And sold girls for enough wine to get drunk. What's that guy doing right there? You know that they were taking these people when Columbus and Cortez and them came over here on their ships, right? They were taking them back to Europe, okay, and selling them as slaves. We already know what this is, all right? Let's go back and get that. Well, no, we're already in here, okay? All right, so this is World War III. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat, Middle East, Yahweh-Shaphat, the Most High's judgment. There will I judge them for harming my people, my special. How is he going to do that? Okay. Well, he's going to get them down there right? Which is going on right now, right? And they think that they're about to bring in a new world order. He's going to bring them down there, and then he's going to set an ambush on them. Where's the ambush? And now, see, come quickly, all you nations everywhere, gather together in the valley of Jehoshaphat. And now, O Lord, call out your war. Who are God's warriors? The angels. That's the ambush. Okay? He's going to spring an ambush on them and put them all down. Let's get it in the King James. Okay? Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. That's the angels, when the angels, and the one you call Jesus in them chariots, right? All right? When you call Jesus, and the angels are in these things, all right? And this is Satan and his angels. Satan means adversary. There's the blue angels right there. This is Michael and his angels. This is Satan and his angels. Okay? And it's all in the scriptures. All right? Let's get that real quick. This is Revelation 12 and 7. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. Here it is right here. Michael and his angels, Satan and his angels. Right? And there was a war in heaven, the war in the sky. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not. Okay? That's the war in heaven right here. Not the spiritual demon Satan getting kicked out of heaven now. You know, this is Satan, the devil. Okay? Right here. And the great dragon, this is 9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. What that's saying is, these planes got shot down with laser beams. You understand? And I can get further into it. We can go into it right here. We can go to 2nd Ezra 13, and we can get the account. 2nd Ezra 13 and 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong. What man? The one you know ignorantly called Jesus Christ. He waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, the angels. Okay? So they came. What happened was, World War III was raging. Then all of a sudden, here come these things. Right? And then they had to stop fighting each other in World War III and fight against these things. Okay? That man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, and when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. He was in a big old chariot, okay, the chariots of Israel. And there was a bunch of little ones too. And when it says, and he turned his countenance, he was turning the ship, okay? And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, it talked about a laser beam, they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. Why are we talking about fire and burning up? Talk about them lasers and the weapon systems on these things, right? After this is World War III. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. So they're going to fight against the one you call Jesus. What is this word right here? And lo, look, there was gathered together. Let's get that. God said, I will also gather all nations, bring them down into the valley of Joseph. Back here. There was gathered together a multitude of men out of number to subdue the men, okay? So this is halfway through World War III. That's when this comes. So let's get it before, right? Before the chariots appeared, okay? This is World War III. And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, right? That's World War III. And then at the last part of World War III, and one realm. One realm. The spiritual realm, fourth dimension, third dimension. One realm against another, all right? And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen which I showed thee before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. She'll be coming around the mountain. Okay? Find out what that means. And when all the people hear his voice, okay, these people are fighting in World War III, and then these things are going to show up. Every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. That's World War III. When they see these things, they're going to change, right? They're going to stop fighting each other, right? When all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together. They're all going to come together to fight against a bigger threat, bigger fish to fry, and are going to lose. Every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, World War III, right? But then they're going to come together to try to fight against, as though thou sawest them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting, but he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Sion, and Sion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded like as though thou sawest the hill graven without hands. Talk about a huge chariot. I have to get that. She'll be coming. And this is what happens. Okay? And son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest. They are about to be judged. Listen, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame. They're going to get that ass burned up. And he shall destroy them without labor by the law which is like unto me. Okay? That's what happened. And I could get further into it. All right? This is 8:13 and 8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together, that's World War III, to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet there's fight. They saw that shit and were scared shitless. But they fought anyway. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. Ezra's is trying to explain what he saw. All right? What he's going to explain is the weapon systems on these chariots. Okay? But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, that's the laser, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Now this is what happened during the fight. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude that was gathered together, which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived. They got totally burned up, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So that's what happens at the end of World War III. Why? Why is God doing this? Why is God gathering them together in the valley of Jehoshaphat? Why? I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat, World War III. There will I judge them for harming my people. My special possession, for scattering my people among the nations, and for dividing up my land. They threw dice. They threw dice to decide which of my people would be their slaves. They traded boys to obtain prostitutes and sold girls. Okay, how did we get into what happened here? All right, this is why. This is the reason for World War III. To lure them into an ambush that they can't get their ass out of. And after the armies of the world are subdued, because you can't overcome the might of these chariots, you're destined to lose. How do we know you're going to lose? I'm reading it out of the book of life. All right? After the armies of the world are destroyed and nothing but dust, right? Then the nations are like this. Well, we only got one thing left to do. We're gonna nuke everybody. We're gonna expend all of our nukes right now. And the world as we know it will go down in flames, but some of us will be saved. What does it mean to be saved? Let's get that. 12. All right. What is this? Let's get this here. Okay. So, right when those missiles are about to be shot, because all the armies are gone, got nobody to protect you anymore, because the one you ignorantly call Jesus is fucking shit up, and the angels, they can't be stopped. That's right when all these other nations are about to go into slavery. Well, how's that going to happen? I'm showing you how it's going to happen. You can't stop these things. These are the chariots of Israel. You got the one you ignorantly call Jesus Christ. You got the angels, and God has his own chariot. Okay? That's why they're hiding them from you. Oh, it's a UFO. Unidentified. No, they're definitely identified. Okay? And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, and their enemies beheld them. Who is they? Some of us are going to be saved from that earthquake. And the same hour was there a great earthquake, and the 10th part of the city fell. What city? Babylon the great city. All 10 FEMA regions are going to go up in smoke together. And in the earthquake were slain of men, everyone. Everybody that didn't ascend up to heaven in a cloud got burned up. How did Jesus leave the earth when he was resurrected. Acts 1 and 9. And when he, who's he? Jesus, whose name is Yahushua in the Hebrew, ancient Hebrew. And when he had spoken these things while they beheld, who beheld? While he was speaking with some of the disciples. While they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly towards heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? And what you tripping on? These two angels, right? Two men stood by them in white apparel, two angels, and they said, Why are you tripping on what you just saw? This same Yahushua, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as you have seen. So what happened? He got beamed up into a chariot. He was taken up, and a cloud received him out of the sight. And here's what the angels said. This same, we use this name, Jesus, which is taken up from you into heaven, shall so come in like manner as you have seen him go into heaven. Shall so what? Come. The second what? Coming. Let's get that. Let's get the second coming. Revelation 1 and 7. Behold, he cometh, second coming, with clouds. He's coming back like this. Same way he left. He got beamed up, all right, abducted. He was abducted by his people, the angels. Right before those missiles hit, we're going to be abducted. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud. Same thing that happened to Jesus. Did you know that? What is the cloud? Let's prove what the cloud is. Well, what are these clouds? The clouds of heaven. Psalm 104 and 1, Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord my God, thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty, who covers thyself with light as with a garment, who stretches out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot. Swing low. Swing low. Shield. That's shield. Be coming around the mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. When she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain. She'll be coming around the mountain. You hiding it from me? You're gonna hide it, huh? Oh, we're gonna hide it. How about this? She'll be coming around the mountain. When she comes, when she goes. The original song was published in Old Plantation. Who was on that plantation? Were they Africans? No, those were Israelites out there slaving. Old plantation hymns. Who was singing it? Swing low. We were calling out to our God. In 1899, it ostensibly refers to the second coming. How's he coming back? In the clouds. Second coming of Christ and subsequent rapture. There ain't no subsequent rapture. But we will be getting beamed up. With the she referring to the chariot that that the returning Christ is depicted as driving. She'll be coming around the mountain, right? With the she referring to the chariot that the returning Christ is depicted as driving. Okay, this is the chariot. Okay, the chariots of Israel. What happened to Elijah? Elijah the prophet. Well, let's see. 2 Kings 2:11, and it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire. A chariot, one of these, and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. He got beamed up. The whirlwind, tractor beam came down. He got beamed up. Little tractor beam like this. Zzz, beam me up, Scotty. Okay? Where we at? And Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven, and Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. Look at that horsepower. Okay? Here's the name of it right here. Not a UFO, a IFO. Showing it to you. Okay? Well, can we get to the World War III? I'm explaining World War III all the way through right now. Okay? All I have left to do is show you a couple of videos to show you that it's going down. All right? Let's see. How about this? Let's get this. Let's see the war. They ain't shooting back yet, but what do you do? Pentagon. PM. Where we going with it? Let's go here.
No laundry.
Think this is a joke, right? Oh, you believe in UFOs? Am I the only one that believes in UFOs? Pentagon UFO report raises national security. Oh, yeah, you got a problem.
It's not just the public asking questions.
Hold on.
There's a whole fleet of them. This morning, a report that the government cannot explain.
Angels. There's a whole fleet of angels out there. All right, right now we're in the cockpit of one of Satan's chariots, if you will. All right, it's this. It's this. Okay, but this is real time. This is from their camera. You get it? There's a whole fleet of them. What are they doing?
There's a whole fleet of them. This morning, a report that the government cannot explain those mysterious objects caught on video, but
they can too explain them. They know exactly what they are. They know they're outgunned. They're outmatched. They're not telling you. I'm telling you. To the very end, what is going to happen.
Military. From an upside-down pyramid-like object hovering.
This is about military. This is about World War III and how it's going to end. Showing you.
Above a Navy destroyer.
Navy destroyer. That sounds like military hardware to me. What is this? It's a, what do you call it? The crosshairs? Okay? Why they got the crosshairs on the angels right here? Because they wish that more than anything that they could take them down, but they can't. All right? So get that ass ready for slavery and payback. Here's where this thing is going.
spheres disappearing into the ocean.
Splashed. Mark bearing a range.
To video allegedly showing one of the U.S. Navy's stealth ships tracking an unidentified object in the sky.
138 knots.
Holy shit, we can't hang with that.
Now, ahead of the release of a declassified...
There's the Pentagon. Wait a minute. This is the military infrastructure for Babylon the Great. All right?
A Pentagon report. The New York Times says these pictures...
See how they can't get a lock on it? He like, oh, whoa. When they get a lock, oh, we got him locked, and we could have, no.
Do little to clarify what the videos show. The New York Times reporting that intelligence officials are worried the videos show America's adversaries may be racing ahead of the...
America's adversaries are the angels. Okay? And Almighty God, Yahweh, and his son Yahushua. Those are America's adversaries. And America knows it. They ain't going to tell you. They know all about what I'm saying right now. That's why they're calling it UFO. We don't know. It was a weather balloon. Nigga, you knew way back in 47. Roswell and all of that bullshit. No, there's not little green men. No, the Most High's chariots don't crash. Bullshit. That's your shit out there crashing. You're trying to duplicate and tell stories and run game and put those myths out there to try to control the narrative, but you're busted. The devil has been exposed for being the damn devil.
Yes, in developing elite weapons technology.
We're talking about weapons here. Okay? There's nothing that anybody on this earth can do about what is about to happen.
Your officials expressing concern to the paper about China or Russia possibly experimenting with hypersonic technology.
China and Russia know all about this too. Why you think they're going to come together so quick to fight against them? All right?
Aircraft and missiles that can reach speeds as high as 4,000 miles per hour. According to the Times, the report, scheduled to be released by June 25th, clarifies that most of the more than 120 incidents over the past 2 decades...
All lies. Okay? They can't stop what is about to happen. They know all they can do is lie. All right? But this was supposed to happen in June. No truth came out. They're still UFOs. You didn't come out and say, well, these are the angels, and they're about to fucking turn everybody into powder. Go watch War of the Worlds. Go watch Independence Day, where there's a mythical story of somehow Will Smith in a F-14, F-18 was able to take the angels down. No. Go watch the big mountain, right? The big chariot fly over York City and get everybody's attention. That's what they're telling you. All right?
Are not from the U.S. military or other advanced U.S. government technology.
Oh, this is getting close.
Nope, they're here to put down the U.S. military and all other armies. All right?
The Times also reports the Pentagon has found no evidence that the phenomena are aliens. And although the Pentagon has confirmed the validity of the videos, they still cannot explain what their cameras and sensors have been picking up.
They know exactly what it is. They're just lying. All they do is lie. All right, so let's wrap it up here. One more time at Joel. Here's what's going on. Here's the point that we're at. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the Middle East. Okay? That's what's going on. Simple. All right, let's get some current events here. Now that we're up to speed. This is World War III. All right, this is Afghanistan. This is an hour ago. Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Afghanistan. Everything is Afghanistan right now. Russia. Russian ally is dragging the country into military conflict and in Afghanistan. They're being dragged into the valley of Yahweh to be judged. All the armies of the world are being dragged down. They're being gathered. Why? Because God is about to launch an ambush on them with these things. And there's nothing they can do about it. Okay? Not a damn thing. They can't overcome this technology. Here's what's going on. This is the story. Okay? Now, I won't always go into detail like this, but every now and then, it's because I know there's a bunch of new people. Oh, what's going on, World War III? World War III Daily Update, what is that? Well, we're going to take the current events, we're going to show you what's going on in the scriptures, and we're going to put them together. We're going to filter these current events through the scriptures. Okay? Doesn't look like nothing new is going on since yesterday. It's a deep journal. It's a deep journal. 18 minutes. Breaking. U.S. launches airstrike on Iran army. That's big. Okay. Big shock to Russia. Thought I saw this yesterday. What did I see yesterday? Maybe it was something different. Iran secretly made its nuclear bomb. See where the nukes come in? All right. Israeli airstrike hits military outpost. Iran-backed attacks. This is World War III, folks. Russia deployed its tanks to the border. U.S. Air Force, Iran, Russia, Israel, China, Pakistan, the troops are being gathered. They're fighting. They're not only being gathered, they're fighting World War III right now. It just hasn't been declared. Okay? It is what it is. All right, so this is a Deep Journal channel. You can go to that. Secret Files 333. Where are they? Secret Files 333, Deep Journal. You got Carrier Pigeon. What's on Carrier Pigeon? 20 hours ago. North Korea tested nuclear missile. Okay? The U.S. attacked in anger. Can you see where this thing is going? Russia violently bombs Ukraine. Iran hits U.S. bases one after another. Nuclear retaliation from Israel to Iran. You see where this thing is going? It's all in the scriptures. The last one. This is Ezekiel 33 and 33. Let's get 32. Start at 32. And lo, thou, who is thou? That's talking about me, art unto them as a very lovely song, and one that hath a pleasant voice and can play well on an instrument, for they hear hear thy words. You hear what I'm saying, but they do them not. Repent, right? If you're an Israelite, repent. If you're a heathen, if you're one of the other nations, you need to, show favor to the nation of Israel. All right? And when this cometh to pass, when what cometh to pass? The things that I'm telling you right now. All right? What did you tell me? I told you that this is going to happen. I told you that this is going to happen. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet hath been among you. All right, so with that, we're going to say, hope that the elect of Israel were edified, and with that, we're going to say shalom.